We are here now with the Richland County coroner, Naida Rutherford. Naida, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, these are not the circumstances that we hope to speak to you live, but this is a very difficult situation for the detainee's family and for the community at large that are now asking questions as to how could someone lose their life behind bars again at the Richland County Jail.
So I think it's really important to note that while there are issues that have been noted and publicized about Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center, this is not one of them. This is a situation where there was self-inflicted injury. This young lady is a mother, she was a daughter, she was a sister, and her family is very upset about what has happened, but they understand that this was at her own hand.
It sounds like you're telling me that this time the Richland County Jail did everything that they were supposed to do in order to keep this detainee safe?
This detainee was by herself. There was no one else that we saw that was with her. She was behind a locked door, and that's where she was discovered.
Now, we know that you are the coroner, and obviously you are called in after somebody already passes away. But what do you, I know unfortunately you've taken several trips to the jail recently, but what can the jail be doing to make sure that inmates are safe while they're there? She was there less than 3 days.
I'll tell you this. There are issues that are being addressed with Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center, and I think that the county administrator and the county is working diligently to solve those issues. This is not that, and I want to be very clear about that. I spoke with Miss Harley's family, and what they wanted me to let everyone know was that she was overwhelmed, that she had hoped to go to the military. She was a student who graduated with honors, and she leaves behind a 3-year-old child. And this was at her own hand. This was not something that the jail did that put her in danger. And I want to be clear about that, which is why I'm here. And yes, there have been some issues. Yes, there have been some homicides at Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. There have been some accidents, but this is not that.
Naida, you've been an advocate for young people. If people follow you on social media, you are always talking to parents, talking to young people, domestic violence situations for young people. What are some of the warning signs that we need to be looking for as parents if we feel like our kids might be in trouble or thinking of self-harm?
I think it's important to understand that there are suicide hotlines. I think it's important to understand that the people that your children surround themselves with should be investigated, and that you should be the nosy parent, and that you should look in the phones and follow them even when they're beyond 18. I think it's important that we know who our children are around. And her mom said to me directly, my daughter just got mixed up with the wrong group of people, which is why she was in there in the first place. They wanted me to let you all know that for all of the media attention that this case has received, they want you, since apparently, and I don't know if you guys have done it or not, but media has been harassing them. They've been driving past their home. And she said, if you want to know about my daughter, then come to her funeral Saturday at 1 p.m. at Mount Nebo Church off of Bluff Road in Eastover, South Carolina, and see the people that loved LaRoyal Harley.
Yeah, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that we have respected this family's privacy. So we were not the media that drove past their house. That's not something we would do. Obviously, we want to treat everyone in a situation like this like we would want our family to be treated.
Right.
And since you have had a chance to talk to her mother, and we're being respectful of the circumstances surrounding her death, what do you see that could have happened that could have prevented this? And if nothing is the answer, that might be the answer.
I think when people make a determination about what they want to do with their body and their self, their mind is made up. And sometimes we have the opportunity to intervene, but she was alone, she was scared, she was in a tough situation, and I think she did what she thought was the best thing to do at that moment, and I wish we could have saved her.
Oh, it breaks my heart. And like we said, you have talked to her mom. What can you tell us about her? Because we know her name, LaRoyal Harley. We know she was 20. What else can you tell us about her?
She was a mom. She had a 3-year-old child, and she really wanted to go into the military. That's what her mom told me today. She said, I had a beautiful kind, sweet daughter, and she just got mixed up. We know that children aren't perfect, and sometimes they make mistakes, and sometimes the people we surround ourselves with can cause us to be in situations that maybe we wouldn't have been involved in. She is adamant that she wasn't raised to be a troublemaker. She was a beautiful girl. These are the words of her mom. And I told her, I said, I will tell them exactly what you want me to tell them. I have to address it. I know that. I called her out of respect and said, this is what I'm going to say. So I told her exactly what I've told you guys, and I didn't veer off from that. So
you don't think there was something that the folks at Richland County, go ahead and grab your microphone because it just fell off.
Yeah.
It happened.
there we go.
You don't think there is something that could have been done, checks that could have been done in the cell at different times to ensure her safety while she was there?
I won't speak to an active investigation in terms of that, but what I will say is that she was not in that cell long by herself in terms of not being checked, and the medical staff at Alvin S. Glenn worked hard to try to revive her. It just was too long.
I know people see you at the worst times in their life, but you have been active in trying to make sure people understand what happens before they have to see the coroner's office or someone from your office. What keeps you up at night? What's the thing that's happening in Richland County, the preventable death that's happening in Richland County that you wish that if you had a magic wand, you could fix today?
I wish that I could explain to families that the safety of their children is paramount. We've seen cases of abuse recently that didn't have to happen, but sometimes parents feel so overwhelmed and so alone when they're caring for their children, and it can be overwhelming as a parent, and I want them to know that there are resources and things that they can do to get help. But more importantly, I just want people to make safe decisions. There's so many preventable deaths that we don't have to have here in Richland County if people would just be safe.
Everything from wearing a seatbelt to not co-sleeping with your baby to
Yes.
the list goes on and on.
We just had a death related to unsafe sleep, and we've had several deaths related to unsafe sleep. Maybe you guys can have me back on so that we can show parents how to protect their newborn babies.
We so appreciate your time, and you know, going forward with the Richland County Jail, because we know you work closely with them. What do you hope to see happen after the investigation is complete and the recommendations and all of that going forward?
Well, the Richland County Coroner's Office works quickly to make sure that if there are any educational gaps that we fill them. And so tomorrow morning I have a meeting with Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center's new HSA, and we will talk about what to do in the event of a suicide or a homicide, or if there is someone that is deceased, what is the proper protocol, and to make sure that she's up to speed on what we would need from them and their staff so that we can preserve evidence, preserve the body, and make sure that we tell the truth about the deaths that happened there.
And what is an HSA?
This is their healthcare supervisor.
Okay, and so what we do know about Alvin S. Glenn is that as of November of last year, they had like one guard for every 56 detainees. Obviously, more employees, more correctional officers would help in this capacity. Do you see in your role as coroner, because obviously you've got more information than we would have, do you see a path forward where maybe that's going to happen anytime soon?
Darcy, I believe in staying in my lane. And so I cannot speak to the employment crisis at Alvin S. Glenn, or even if there is one. What I will say is I believe that the county is working hard to try to resolve the issues at the detention center.
All right, Naida Rutherford, our Richland County Coroner, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for
guys so
everything you
much.
do for our community, and especially for our kids, too.
And we will definitely have you back on.
We're having you back.
We can't talk
we got too
enough
many
about
questions.
safe sleeping practices for parents. So,
And I'm interested, too, in what you've had to say and share about talking to our young kids about domestic violence and our teenagers in relationships. So we'd definitely love to have you back on.
Thank you guys so much, and my condolences to the family of LaRoyal Harley.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.